I'm Acting Battalion Chief Brent Biedenbender, in charge of the training division, and we're going to take a tour. This is a 2020 Pierce Aero XT aerial platform. We took delivery of it in November of 2020 and put it in service January 1st after we equipped it with all the specialized equipment that we purchased. So inside the driver's seat, they have what we call command zone. And command zone gives the driver the ability to see the whole truck and what is going on with it. And so up on this little display is the command zone feature, and it tells the driver if the people are seated. So if I were to sit in this seat, it would turn that little thing red, and it'll flash until they put their seatbelt on. So that's one of the safety features that we built into the truck. And then it gives us fuel display, DEF fluid, which is for the fuel. And if we click the next button over, they can see heat controls, diagnostic, and they can go through all the other options and features of the truck. So moving right along, this compartment here is a gear compartment, and it is totally enclosed. And we put our dirty turnout gear in there for the safety of our firefighters. After we fight a fire, their gear goes in this compartment, and it keeps the carcinogens in here and won't allow it inside the cab. And so it's part of our cancer prevention detail for the firefight department and for the firefighters. Moving into the back pod, this is where our firefighters ride. There's 2 seats. It holds 2 firefighters, a total of 4, so an officer, a driver, and then the 2 firefighters in the back. Right on the left side there is our tools that we use for forcible entry. So there's a Halligan bar married with an axe and a holder, so it's easy for our fire personnel in the back to exit with. Down below in the silver part, you can see is the pump panel, and we opted for this specific type of puck, or it's called a puck pump, and Pierce only sells it. The puck stands for pump under cab, and so what they do is they put the pump under, it goes up and over the frame rails, and it gives us the ability to have more cabinet space on the truck. And so right above it is the hose lines that we use for fighting fires. So up top we have a 2.5 and then 2 1.75-inch cross lays. They're called pre-connects because they're pre-connected to the truck, and it's easy for us to get water out of those for firefighting operations. The big yellow one next to it is a 50-foot supply line, and we use that to hook to the hydrant to get water into the engine. So moving down to the next compartment, this is our pump panel. This is what controls where the water comes out, where we bring the water in, so it controls the big intake valves. The intake valves are electronically controlled with these buttons, and then this one allows us to put water up to the aerial ladder. The rest of these control our hand lines, foam system operation, primer, and this is the main controller for the pump itself. On the side over on the left wall is the controls for the lighting on the sides of the truck, the heater that heats the pump panel, and then there's controls for the 2 monitors that are on the front of the aerial platform. And so we opted to put controls down here in case it's fast moving and we need to get water out fast. We can control those nozzles from the panel. Next compartment back has MPO supplies. So all the fittings that they need in case something happens and the hose were to get reversed somewhere, we have fittings that are of the same style, and we can hook them up and we can make it work without having to switch the hose around. Above that we have tarps for property. When we fight fires, we try and cover up people's contents in their house so we don't ruin it any more than it already is from the smoke. Above that is our RIT pack, and these trays actually come out and roll down for the ease of accessibility for our personnel. This tray slides out, and so it's easier for people to access the equipment. These also come out, so there's equipment on one side and then equipment on the other side. Up top is the next compartment above the wheel wells is full of cribbing, and when I say by cribbing, it's just plastic blocks. These are made by Turtle Tile Plastics, and so we use them for anytime we have vehicle accidents and we need to do stabilization. They come out in little squares, and they're hard plastic, and so they have spikes on them, and it's designed to lock together so it doesn't slide when it's underneath the vehicle. Above the wheel well, there's a storage compartment here. This is the air pack, self-contained breathing apparatus for our driver. It's required by the standards that every seated position on the rig has an air pack. And so this is the place that we put the driver's air pack. And so you can see we're kind of full. Even though the truck is so large, we need to carry a lot of equipment. And so their air pack is in this little compartment. In this little one above the rear wheel is some more cribbing. And so the yellow ones are designed as wheel chocks. And so as soon as a car accident, we show up, we take the yellow ones out, we put it around a tire so the car is safe for us to operate around. Back compartment has a series of extrication tools. And so this side is considered the extrication side of the ladder truck. The other side is more firefighting and rescue. The back has all the hoses on it that we need to fight fires besides the pre-connected ones. The ones on the back are not. So up top, we have some chain come-alongs, and it gives us the ability to move something to us or move something away from us. In the next tray, in the first red bag is a laminated glass cutter. It runs on a battery. So it runs on a Milwaukee 12-volt, 18-volt battery, and all it does is, it's like a pair of scissors, and so it cuts through laminated glass like a windshield or the side windows of your car. Next to that is some more auto cribs. These come out, fold up. Behind it we have a Sawzall to cut miscellaneous things. We can cut anything. We can cut wood, trees, plastic, whatever. Down below, these two bags contain 25-foot sections of chain that we use with the come-along and a tarp for our equipment to go on. When we go on vehicle accidents, we lay a tarp out, put all of our tools on that, and it helps us stay organized, and we put our tools back there. In the bottom is what we call the jaws of life. And so there's a big spreaders capable of spreading up to 31 inches, a cutters that can cut almost any part of a car, and it has 236,000 pounds of cutting force, and the spreader is capable of spreading roughly 100,000 pounds of spreading force. Those are both battery operated. All the tools that we carry are now battery operated. We don't have to plug anything in anymore. Back passenger side or officer side compartment has our complement of saws. One's a chainsaw. You can use it, we use it to cut trees, roofs, whatever we have to. It's designed to cut wood. The one behind it has a metal cutting blade on it. And so we use it for cutting open commercial doors, car hoods, whatever we need to, but it's designed to cut metal. In the little compartment right here is a fire extinguisher. We're required by the law to carry fire extinguishers on our apparatus, so we also have an ABC dry chem extinguisher, no different than any your home should have. This compartment is a full complement of Milwaukee tool batteries that we use for all of our hand tools that we'll see down the way here. As long as the vehicle is running or plugged in, it charges our equipment. The middle compartment here has spare air bottles, and there's one for every seated position. There's actually one down in this hole here. If you take the middle bottle out, there's one down in the middle, so there's 4 of them total, one for every seated position. So everybody has an hour and a half of air. This compartment is mostly rescue. So in the end section is 2 rolls, 2 bags of 300-foot lines for life safety, life rescue rope. The front rope that you see we use as utility rope to haul tools up to a roof, or if we got to haul something somewhere, we use that roof. Once the life safety rope is used and taken out, it has to be retested in order to be determined that it's safe for us to be on again. Up top we have some struts for car accidents, and so they're used to stabilize vehicles when they're rolled over on their side. Down below that is what we call our high-rise pack. And so we take this into high-rise buildings, hook it to the standpipe system, we lay it out down the stairs and then back up, and this is how we fight fires in high-rises. In the front little compartment is what we call our water can. It's a pressurized water fire extinguisher. We carry it. We use it quite a bit, take it in on small residential fires, put out garbage cans, up to like a small bedroom fire. This compartment, 2 fans up top. They are capable of positive pressure ventilation, and so we can use them simultaneously or we can use one at a time, and it helps evacuate smoke out of a building. Next to that are 2 more tool boards that slide out. It has battery operated hand tools on it. So there's various types. There's grinders, there's a sawzall, there's drills, and it all depends upon what we need as far as rescue concerns go and what we grab. Socket set, the empty bag is designed that we take the tools out. The trays is like a toolbox like your parents may have in your house or that you would have in your garage. It's full of miscellaneous tools. We can take them out, put them in the bag, go inside and do our rescue or whatever we have to do. We got some lights, some little box lights in here that we use to light up the inside of houses because we turn the power off when we're fighting a fire so we don't get electrocuted. So we bring our own lights in. These are just little cube lights, and they're easy for us to operate, and they're extremely bright. Up top in this compartment, there's an electrical junction box that we can take out. We can run this into the house. The cord that it's attached to is 250 feet long, so we can take it in. We can supply our own power. The truck has a generator on it that's capable of running this plus all the other stuff that's on it. And so if for some reason we need to bring ourselves electric, we can take this power box in. The next compartment has a little giant ladder or a step ladder that we can use for smaller residential stuff, or even in commercial buildings if we're looking for smoke in an office area, we can get up in the ceiling tiles with that. 2 more tool boards that come out. This has our bigger tools on it that we need space for. There's 4-foot New York hooks on this side for pulling ceilings in confined areas, a bolt cutters, and a manhole cover puller. In here we have some more portable battery operated lighting, and so this one stands in the compartment fairly slim and then opens up. We can extend the top up. We can make it rather tall, and then we can tilt the head down to light an area inside of a house. This is the other side of the pump panel that we were talking about on the first side. It gives us the ability to discharge large volumes of water, intake that yellow hose off the back. And then above that is the same cross lays that we saw on the other side. This side is the same as the other side. The only difference is in this compartment here, we have a thermal imaging camera and then Knoxbox keys that we use to get into buildings after hours. And so you can also access that camera from the little compartment door right here. This is what we call the officer seat. So whoever's in charge of the ladder truck for that day would ride in here. They have access to the radio, the sirens, and some of the other features that we'll show you when we go outside. This little computer here is our CAD screen, and that's where our dispatch information shows up. And so when we get a call on that screen, it would tell us where we're going. We can acknowledge dispatch without talking on the radio. It's all push button, and they can see it on their side when we get dispatched. In the front bumper, we have a hose line as well. It's yellow jacketed rubber hose, and so we use this for car fires and dumpster fires, and it makes it quick access for our crews. It's only 100 feet long. It doesn't stretch as far as the ones on the side of the truck, so it makes it a lot easier. If we open the cover, there's some 6-foot New York hooks in here like we saw on the back of the truck. We put them in here so it's easier for our crews to get. The wrenches you see over here, the middle one's a hydrant wrench and the other 2 are spanner wrenches, and we use those for tightening the couplings, which would be this. In the hose, if it was leaking really bad, we use those 2 wrenches together to tighten. On the far side, we have our traffic cones, which we set out so traffic doesn't hit us. These are collapsible versions, so they fit on the truck easy, and they're easy for us to store. If you look up, you can see the front of the platforms here. So we have two big monitors up there. They're capable of flowing 1,500 gallons a minute apiece. And then in the middle, there's a little discharge that we can use for like an elevated waterway on a roof if we had to bring ourselves water. All right, so now that we've went through the whole truck in here, we're gonna take it outside and we'll put it up in the air so everybody can see what it looks like when it's up. Now that we've come outside, we're gonna show you, we've already set up the outrigger so we can take the ladder out of the bed, and we'll show you how the aerial ladder works. So the steps in the side get us up to the top. I'm gonna go all the way up to the platform, and then I'll come back around and I'll bring it down to the ground so we can take a look inside of it. So now that we brought the aerial ladder out, we can bring it down, we can show you some of the features inside of it. In this back compartment, we carry some hose. So if we have to work on a rooftop, we can bring water up to 104 feet, and we can get ourselves some work up top with the hose. As you can see, there's quite a bit of levers and whatever. The screen operates the ladder. It tells you how much weight you can put inside the platform. It'll give you how many feet you are out from the truck, how high you are off the ground, and it'll give you a load conversion. When you're flowing water, it'll tell you how many gallons per minute are coming out of the end of the water nozzles. There's a speaker up here, so the operator that's on the turntable can always keep track of what we're doing, and they can hear us talking. Over to the side, there's some switches that operate some lighting on it, so we can use the lights on it to light a large area. Up top, these silver brackets allow us to hook a ladder on and climb down the front of the aerial ladder and down onto a roof without having to jump out one of the doors. The doors that open up are breakaway, and so if you're outside working on something and something happens on the roof and you have to bail back into the platform, you can just push on the door and it'll come open and you can get back in. Underneath the platform itself, there's a little gold circle we call it a water curtain, and it's to protect the underside of the platform if we're up over a fire somewhere, and so it doesn't melt any of the components underneath. Now we're going to take it up and we're going to go up top, and we'll see you at 100 feet.